Okay, guys, so hopefully you've done a bit of practice on solving linear equations in a variety of contexts following SAMDOB. I'm going to do exactly the same thing here. Obviously, we haven't dealt with brackets, but here's the context of brackets here. Okay, and I want you to really think about what to do in the process. And there's a couple of options. You can expand the brackets and then go from there. And so I might do a couple of each just to show you how you'd go about doing things. All right, so let's have a look here. We've got 5 outside of x minus 2 equals 20. And we could, if it allows, and I want you to, I guess, analyze the situation. If you get stuck, let me know, ask me questions. I'm more than happy to help. Um, the 5 is multiplied to this set of brackets, okay? And what I might do is I'll just put SAMDOB here as a refresher. And we want to, say, eliminate the 5. So in this case, that is going to be our first step. And then that means our minus 2 is going to be our second step. And to get rid of the 5, we're going to divide both sides by 5. Okay. All right. So then 20 divided by 5 is 4. And we have x minus 2 left. Okay. So x minus 2 is equal to 4. To get rid of the 2, we want to add 2 to both sides as our second step. So remember, this is a negative 2. To counteract that, we do the opposite. So x is then equal to 6. Okay. If we jump onto the right hand side here, we got 9 outside of x minus 7 equals 82. We could do the same thing as first to get rid of the 9, but what you'll find is that 82 doesn't really divide by 9 nicely. So what I might do is expand the brackets here first. So we want to multiply 9 times x and then 9 times minus 7. We've got 9x minus 63 is equal to 82. And this is where you need to know your timetables really well. Please familiarize yourself with timetables so you can do this a lot more efficiently, and you're not, spending too much time trying to figure out what is 3 times 7 or 64 divided by 8, things like that. All right, so we've expanded the brackets. What we could do is now get rid of the minus 63, and then we'll get rid of the 9 afterwards. So this is going to be our first step, and this is going to be our second step. Okay, first step, because it's a minus 63, we're going to add 63 to both sides. Okay, and so if you need to use your calculator at this point because we're dealing with some larger numbers, then that's completely fine. 9x is equal to 145. Okay, and now what we're left with is the 9 to eliminate. And I'm happy at this stage to do a number of, one of two options. You can use your calculator and solve it as a decimal. You can leave it as a fraction or a mixed number, but please keep in mind what the question is asking for. It might ask you to actually have your answer in a specific format. So if it asks you to do it as decimal, then please make sure you convert appropriately. If it asks you in a fraction, then you would do as required. So in this case here, to get rid of the 9, I'm going to divide both sides by 9, and x is equal to 16.1. Okay, and one decimal place, two decimal places. Again, if the question specifies, then apply those expectations. If it doesn't, one or two decimal places doesn't bother me at all. Okay, let's look at the next two. Alrighty, and I want you to really think about your negatives. I want you to think about your fractions and make sure that you understand each of those processes. Um, so what I might do with, we'll just go clockwise. So we're going to move on to 2 outside of y plus 4 equals minus 7. I'm going to do exactly the same thing. Let's expand the brackets. Okay, and 2 times y is 2y, and 2 times 4 is 8. We need to get rid of the 8 first, and then we'll get rid of the 2 second. Okay, so to get rid of the 8, because it's a positive 8, we're going to subtract 8. And because we're subtracting 8 from the left-hand side, we're going to subtract 8 on the right-hand side to keep things balanced. We have 2y is equal to minus 15. So please make sure we've got a minus 7 here. We're going to take away another 8. So we're delving further into the negatives. And that's something that I want you to be mindful of. So we got now, 2y is equal to negative 15. And just like what we did in the previous lesson, where we had two yo-yos equaling something and so you halved it, we're going to do exactly the same thing here. Okay, so we're going to halve both sides by dividing both sides by 2. And y is now equal to minus 15 over 2, or as a mixed fraction, got minus 7.5, or if you want as a decimal, we've got minus 7.5, just to kind of give you the different contexts of making sure you know how to convert from one form to the other. Okay, alrighty. Now we'll move on to the last question, which is on the bottom left. We've got minus 9 outside of 8, a minus 3 equals minus 3. So what we'll do here, we're going to expand again. Okay, so we've got minus 9a, and minus 9 times minus 3 is a positive value. Okay, two negatives makes a positive, and so I don't want you to forget that crucial point. We've expanded the brackets. Now we can actually eliminate our numbers. The 27 will be our first value. The minus 9 will be our second, because the minus 9 is multiplied to the a. Okay, so to get rid of the 27, we're going to subtract 27 from both sides. And let me write those two things down so you know what's happening. Minus 9a is going to equal to minus 30. So minus 3 minus 27 gives you minus 30. It's really crucial that you do know which direction you're going and where you're starting, where you're finishing. Okay, so we've done that in the very first chapter of this year with negative integers and positive integers. That's important that you are mindful and aware of those. The next step is to get rid of the minus 9. The relationship with the a is multiplied, so we want to divide both sides by minus 9. Okay, divide both sides by minus 9. And we're left with a. Now, a negative divided by a negative is going to be positive. So we've got 30 over 9. We could simplify that fraction to 10 over 3. So wherever you can simplify a fraction, can you please make sure that you do that? And then with that, what we could do is we convert this value into a mixed number. So 3 1/3, or we can convert that to a decimal, which is 3.3 recurring. Okay, that 3 continues, and that's what that dot means on the top. Alrighty. Any questions, let me know. Hopefully this helps you and makes sense. Send me a direct message if you got any questions and you need help. Okay, thanks guys. See you in the next video.